Welcome, 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 welcome. Man, it's been a while since we've been under this umbrella, but we're back. We're back. We're grateful to be back. Life off the bench. Life off the bench, man. It's just a different place and space where we bring people on, we talk to them, we hear their stories, or we talk about real life issues with real life people who are going through real life situations. But today is a grateful occasion to be here. I'm smiling. Yes, I'm smiling. Uh, Guest is a great friend of mine. I call him brother. He calls me brother. Um, to me, he is a really great, well respected man, not just in his area where he does life, but across the state of Louisiana, Texas, Arkansas. He's just well respected as a coach. And now he's ventured into his next journey. Please welcome Coach and now Arthur Eddie Hamilton Jr. Welcome.
What's up, Doc? How you doing, bro?
I'm great, man. Glad to have you. Glad to have you on board, man. Generally, you're here as a panelist on Life Off the Bench. Today, you're here as a guest. Welcome.
Yes, sir. Glad to be here. Always glad to get a chance to chop it up with you, Doc.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. It's an amazing feeling to be amongst friends in any or on any avenue, be it everyday life or when we do get the time to go and enjoy lunch or dinner together in a sporting avenue. Now you're a published author.
Yes, sir. It's official. It is official.
Man, I'm elated because just like you, this is uncharted territory for me too. Interviewing an author, uh, like it rolls off my tongue so freely. Arthur Eddie J. Hamilton. Man, let's go here. How did you know writing a book was what you were supposed to do?
Man, that's a great question, man. Pretty much, if I go back the year you and I met in 2017, we met in 17, the 17-18 school year, but it was fall of 2000, winter of 2017. The year before, the spring before that, a young lady I grew up with named Chloe. Her name is Chloe Duplessis. She's an artist. We went to high school together. You know, she moved away for a little while, back and forth. She's now in Colorado. And man, she was watching during that time. You know, my program at Fowl Park was doing pretty well, and we made it to the top 5 of the state those last couple of years. Got as high as number 1. You know, the school closed down in 2017 as a high school. And what happened is that year, she approached me about speaking. And then I started getting calls, because at that time, you have a little success. People, they want to hear your voice. You know what I'm saying? And so, man, I got a chance to speak at a few events, coaching clinics, and, come in, talk to some kids, just different events, man. And it started off like that. And then she started talking to me about a speaking business, which of course I didn't know that existed. and so what's happened over time is that you remember 2 years ago, I did a podcast. I did 18 episodes called The Coaching Sanctuary. I'm a church boy, man. So, Sanctuary would hit me. And got a lot of positive feedback from it. And then that podcast, after I had cut it off, went into that season, that podcast turned into ebooks. So I took that podcast, took the episodes, took the information from it, extracted it, and I turned it into ebooks, which are available on my website now. And then I was like, okay, well, people are asking. I was getting a chance to share it, but it was a lot of information that was spread out, and then it just popped in my head, honestly. And I want to believe that God laid it on my heart. You know what I'm saying, to do. Because I get calls and stuff, from other coaches and things, and we talk, and people ask for advice. I ask for advice. We share things, and man, the next thing you know, man, I decide, well, let me take these 10 ebooks and just turn it into a book. So last school year, while I'm at work and on the computer and at home, and man, so next thing you know, I took those 10 ebooks, man, took everything, compiled it, man, and next thing you know, man, it's a book. And so I have the file created, not necessarily really knowing what the next step is. And I go to a conference in Houston, Texas, and I run into a lady by the name of Dr. Rakim Rogers. We're at a conference, and I'm there, and I'm involved, and we're talking, and we're collaborating. And I'm telling her about it, and next thing you know, she's like, "Man, look, I'm a publisher," and she said, "I feel like I should help you."
Right.
Like just like that. And so I had the work ready, and and here it is, me having the work ready. Next thing you know, and turned it in my stuff, signed the contract, did those things with her publishing company, Beyond 94 Feet, down in Houston, Texas. And before you know it, man, and I know I'm making it short, but going through that whole process, man, before you know it, I'm looking at a manuscript in my hand from a publishing company, and man, I've written a book. You know what I'm saying? And so it was something that is like it evolved. But at the same time, I had something tangible that, as the scripture says, write the vision, make it plain that men may run. And for the first time, I had something in my hand, and I share it with somebody, and they had the resources, to help me bring it to life. Like, right. And here it is now, man, in November, a few days before my birthday, man, I'm a published author. I'm still in awe. Like a real book with a ISBN number, all of my thoughts over the last 20 years of my career. I'm in my 20th year, being able to take all those experiences that I've learned, the failures, the successes, mentorship, all those, the highs and lows of my life, man, I'm able to put this into a real publication to share with others, man. And so, there's still some of the things that are taking place that I don't really know what's going on, man. It's just, but now, being an author, man, and being able to share, the success and failure of my career and how I overcame a lot of things. I mean, we at this point now, I think you can tell I'm still in awe. I'm still in awe about it.
As you should be, Coach. The process of writing a book is never easy. You have to have a lot of words, a vast amount of words in your vocabulary. When you look at it from a perspective of having 10 ebooks at your disposal already, what all had to go into conjoining those words that you already had, but meshing words in to build a true picture of what you already had created and that had success. How hard was that in meshing everything together?
So the good part about it is a publisher is they read through your stuff and they comb through it, and the expertise that they have helps to put it in a order that makes sense. So each one of my ebooks were written in order anyway. So, so with that, because everything was synchronized, when I did the podcast, every episode that I did, like I said, everything was succinct, so that part for me, because when I did that podcast, that's years of my career that I have a jump drive. I've had the same jump drive since college. Right. Everything that I've done in college, everything I've done in my career, it's all in that jump drive, man. And when I sat down and did the podcast, it was in order. It started from setting the foundation, all the way to developing relationships and working with parents. Like, it's a lot of different things in there, working with mentors. So it was already in order. So when I got to work with a publisher that they professionally understand how to make things succinct and congruent and works together, that process was on them. I give them the information. They even cut some parts out. Like, I actually have enough information to write like 2 or 3 more books. You know what I'm saying? Wow. So yeah, so this is actually the beginning. This is the beginning of other things to come. So like I said, when I did the podcast, when I did my ebooks, they were in order. I typed them up, put them in a Google Drive, send it to them, and then they were able to take it and maneuver it and put it together. And so, that's why I got a chance to learn the editorial process. And so that made it simple, of course, because that's their job to do that. And so, but doing it on my own at first, of course, man, it took a lot of time. It did, but it didn't feel like a lot of time because I was having fun doing it. You know what I'm saying? Like, this was a fun thing. It wasn't tedious. It wasn't stressful. Taking all that information and putting it into one publication together, man, was a fun process. And I didn't even know what I was going to do with it, man. I really didn't even know. It just kind of fell on my heart to do, and man, next thing you know, man, I'm doing it, and I'm working with somebody professionally that helped me bring it to life.
Right. When you look at the name, The Complete Coach, why The Complete Coach? What about your book? What information in your book? Because the name of a book, the name of a business, the name of a building can make and break any venture or capital.
Right.
And so The Complete Coach, from a reader standpoint, The Complete Coach makes sense to me because it's saying that when I read this book, I'm going to understand from the alpha to the omega and what I need to know in building, growing, not just the student athlete, but the coach's mentality as well, because it's a certain conjuncture that coaches have to be able to express in the right tenure, in the tone, in how to get a kid to run through the proverbial brick wall for them. Why The Complete Coach?
So I had, in my personal life, I dealt with, and I didn't know I dealt with it until hindsight. I dealt with low self-esteem,
right,
low self-worth, want to be a people pleaser, comparison, comparing myself to like, those are issues that I dealt with. You know what I'm saying? That caused me to make some decisions in my life that was detrimental to my mental health. You know what I'm saying? And like I said, I'm 43 now, I'll be 44 on Monday. So in hindsight, I could go back and see what was going on at that time. I didn't know what was going on because it was normal. You know what I'm saying? Like the behaviors and the habits and things that I had, it was a normal thing and it wasn't addressed. Even though I grew up in the church, you know what I'm saying? Like, there were certain issues and things that just weren't discussed and it was just normalized. I give props to my wife. Shout out to my wife, Tanya Hamilton. And then also my last 2 pastors, Richard Stampley in Natchitoches, and then my current pastor, Doyle Adams, who is my father-in-law as well, who were 2 people over the course of the last, 20 plus years of my life that took time to see beyond my gifts and my talents, to coach, to play I play music in church, I taught Sunday school, different things like that. But they actually took time to look at me as a person, and to look beyond the gifts and talents and really see who I was as a person and to see my flaws, you know what I'm saying? And to have conversations with me that were uncomfortable, but I was willing to have them. And so get into the complete coach, man, and to shorten it a little bit, is just that those issues hit me really hard. Low self-esteem, low self-worth, low self-value, wanting to people please, all those different things. It hit me early in my career, and I found myself just stressed, burned out, and not complete. You know what I'm saying? And
Right.
trying to prove myself as a coach. But the truth is, I didn't need to prove myself as a coach. I just needed to be a better man,
Right.
not a perfect man, you know what I'm saying? But my intentions needed to change. I needed to be a coach that a lot of us say that we're in it for the kids and we want to help the kids, stuff like that. And we mean it, but we don't know what that means. If I'm making sense, you know what I'm saying? We mean it. We want to help. We want to help other kids, with their, get to their dreams and goals. But the bottom line is that I can't give what I'm not.
Absolutely.
I can't give what I'm not. And so if I'm not whole and complete as a person, even though I'm still evolving, but having a self-awareness of what my weaknesses are, what my strengths are, and putting myself in position to know who I am as a person and become more self-aware, all that stuff met me early in my career. I was saying all the right things to my guys as a coach, but I had my own personal struggles. And so I wasn't overcoming my personal issues. And so with that, there were things I was missing as a coach. Now, mind you, everybody's different. Everybody got different, things that they got to overcome and deal with. So this is the way God dealt with me. You know what I'm saying? And so, man, when I got to a crossroads in my life, a very, very low point in my life, where my wife and I could have just called it quits. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Man, I voluntarily went into therapy and counseling. You know what I'm saying? And put myself in position to learn something different about me. And why was I making these decisions? Why was I making bad choices? Why was I struggling? Why am I stressed out? All these different things going on. And so, getting to the point of calling it a complete coach, man, when I dealt with Eddie Hamilton and really got to know myself, you know what I'm saying, and understand who I was and what drove me, better, and I dealt with those things and started to face those things, for me, I saw an immediate turnaround in my program.
Right.
I saw my words and actions impacting my players more. The way that I communicated with them, the conversations that we're able to have, that's when my goal as a coach went from just winning to, man, I want to, lead young men into wanting to be leaders of families, because that's a dilemma that we have, especially in the Black community, is that we have a lot of children who are being raised up, without having the influence of, men that are committed to their families. You know what I'm saying? And that are teaching them and showing them what it takes to be a man, to be responsible, to learn how to overcome adversity, to be accountable for the decisions that we make, those types of things. And so as I became more transparent with my team and being more open, I found them fighting harder. I found them being more resilient. I found them being more responsible about how they behaved at school, the grades, even away from school, how they carried themselves. Like I said, not perfect, you know what I'm saying, but being more aware. And so when I go back and I look at all those things, and when I put all these things together, the ebooks, the experiences, all that stuff there, man, it just made sense, that the best version of myself as a person, as a man, as a husband, as a father, as a coach, as a leader, as a minister at my church, as a musician at my church, all those things, man, it was like, man, being able to minister to the needs of the young men that I've coached, and also minister to the needs of my family before them, it just made all the more sense in the world, man. It was just the complete coach. Because then the subtitle says integrating well-being, you know what I'm saying? Integrating well-being and success into athletics. And, and that was the thing, that the more whole I was as a person, the more congruent I was with my words and my actions were matching, is when I found myself having the most success externally to people. Because even when wasn't winning, a lot of games, as we were growing, we were still winning. You see what I'm saying? We were still winning, man. Boys were, you know, graduating from school with honors, going on to have careers. We had guys coming from non-traditional homes, getting married and starting families. You know what I'm saying? So
Right.
that started happening. That winning started happening even before we started winning. You know what I'm saying? So, so that it just made as much sense as possible to call it the complete coach, man, because it's working from the inside, you know, first, and then being able to pour that out into others. You know what I'm saying? Because, you know, it was a life I was living and not just life I was talking. You know.
Right. And man, I really understand where you come from. While you were just telling that part of your story, I was drifting back into my childhood. I can remember Irvin Peter Turner, who owned the Boys and Girls Club here in Monroe. I remember Jerry Belton. You know, we knew Jerry was going to be there coaching in some capacity every single sport, football, basketball. You know, I played baseball growing up, you know, through the Boys and Girls Club. If we're talking about the parks and recreation, you know, we go on the other side of the highway, and it was Coach Huey and Paul Beaver, and we knew they were going to be at the rec running the rec basketball program. But you know what I don't remember? And those men did a phenomenal job with the knowledge that they had for that time in teaching us how to play sports. But I've said this 100 times. I don't remember them. And granted, it was probably even harder to reach me because I wasn't the best child growing up. But I don't remember them saying, hey, you don't have to be with the environment says you can be as a kid. And so it's a lot of people who have this story of making it, but not understanding or not, you know, them guys didn't. And again, I'm from a different cloth. You know, being from the projects and having this anger issue for no reason. I don't even know why I'm angry.
Yeah.
I don't even know why I'm angry, but I'm angry. And I, you know, I see my friends, and the next thing I know, we're fighting. But these are my friends, or people that I call friends.
Mm-hmm.
And so now you have to carry that anger, that hate that you build up over time. And like you said, your mental isn't straight though. And so now you have to figure life out, not just as being a man, but being a husband, a father, a coach, a teacher. And so when you look at all those things and you see now from a perspective of having Mr. Eddie in your life growing up, you see your brother Tyrone, great young man,
Right.
but you look at some of the things that you see now in young men not having fathers in their everyday life. How did you put that in perspective into writing your book and saying, hey, this is one thing that can help you in your everyday life, not just as a husband, not just as a father, not just as a teacher or a motivator, but also from a coaching perspective. What's that one thing that has helped you get over the hump and just, I know, learning to love me, for me, whoever that is, has been like in the last 3 months? And because we have a personal relationship, I told you guys, I shared this with you. In the last 3 months, it's like a weight's been lifted off of my shoulders because I don't have that anger just riding me. And even if I don't sleep good at night, I'm rested when I get up in the morning because guess what happened? My mind stopped spinning finally. Like all that thinking, unnecessary thinking about stuff. Like, how did you incorporate that into the complete coach?
Well, I mean, experience. you know, experience, man. I mean, like, yeah, think about it, man. I'm writing this book in my 20th. I'm finishing this book, starting my 20th year as a like just putting that into perspective. Man, I've been doing this. This is my 20th year. You know what I'm saying? And you know, man, my dad, Eddie Hamilton, man, Eddie Hamilton Sr. If the one thing I learned from my dad was being present. You know what I'm saying? My dad worked, you hear me? But he was present.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, no matter when he was working 2 and 3 jobs when I was a kid, he was still present. You know, to this very day, my dad is still present.
Present. Facts.
You know what I'm saying? Like, bruh, you got a chance to meet him. I mean, you when you see my dad, it's just like you his little brother or you his oldest son. Like when y'all see each other, you know, wherever I am, my dad's gonna be there. You know what I'm saying? And you know that right there, you know, probably means more than any other interaction with a man that I've had is the fact that my dad was there.
Right.
And you know, I learned other things over time. Because, you know, you even have a scripture that says one man planted, one man watered, and then God increases. So my daddy planted me. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You know, my daddy, you know, is him and my mama created me. With God, they created me. And what I got a chance to see every day for my life was my daddy be here. You know what I'm saying?
A mouthful then, man.
Man, so with that being said, I was angry the first part of my career being around all these kids who daddies wasn't around.
Bruh, don't even go.
So let me tell you something, man. Like, this is the way God allowed it to happen to me. Me and my wife had 5 miscarriages before my son Ethan Jeremiah was born. 5. Okay. We had 2 more after he was born. So for me, my son a miracle. You know what I'm saying? We struggled. You know, my wife had some issues with her body, and God saw fit to allow me to have my one son. But for years, man, the first part of my career, you know, and I understand there are different, like, mind you, let me go ahead and say this. I understand there are different circumstances when it comes down to, you know, the father relationship with their kids. There's a whole lot of different things. So people can't point. There's some men out there who want to be in their kids' life and their mamas won't let, you know what I'm saying? So I don't want to get that wrong. You know, I understand it's 2 sides to it all. So,
absolutely.
but just in general, you know, understanding having the impact of my dad, you know, in my life, and then I'm around all these kids, and I just started asking the question, you know, with dealing with like kind of the trouble kids. Man, I asked him, man, how was your relationship with your father?
Right.
And if I was to give you a percentage, I'll probably say, man, 85 to 90% of the kids that had some issues going on, they would all say they had issues. They didn't have a solid relationship with their dad.
Man, that's crazy, because I'm not gonna say what school I was at today.
Okay.
But it was a situation going on, and I probably said something that I knew was right, but it wasn't none of my business, to be honest.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm a protector of kids. I'm definitely a protect. A woman or a girl being around me is in a safe place and space.
Right.
And so I'm always gonna fight for them. And so, like, we have so many kids whose father is either dead or in jail, or just not in their average everyday life, or they are across town taking care of someone. I know I'm gonna piss somebody off while I'm saying this, but I just gotta say it because it's the truth. They're across town buying Jordans for somebody else's kids, and their kids got on Safeway pies. Like, make that one make sense.
That's a fact, bro. That's a fact. It's a fact. It is what it is. It's a fact.
Like they doing something big. No, doing something big is taking care of your seed, the one you create.
Yeah. Well, I have a theory. And you know, of course, people have all their different mentalities and mindsets. You know, it is what it is.
Fact.
This is my theory. I feel like I feel like if every man raised their kids, I feel like there are a whole lot of jobs that we don't have to hire folk for.
Right.
Behavior, mental health specialists and behavior interventionists and psychologists and social workers and all this stuff. If every man just say, I'm gonna raise my kids. Shoot, dog, even police officers, you know what I'm saying? Like, because we live in a fallen world, and we do understand that, it is what it is. But I feel like a whole lot of issues that we have, we probably wouldn't have if every father just said, hey, that's my child, I'm gonna take care of my child. You know what I'm saying? And so, with that being said, and I'm just pulling up to the house here, my son Mike aside. But yeah, man, it's just
Uh-oh. Yeah, be patient. He coming back.
and I just feel like that we need more men that are willing, that say that I want it, and whatever that looks like. You know what I'm saying? Ideally is marriage. That's the ideal situation. That's definitely what we would love to have. But even if that's not the situation, man, just being committed to taking care of the family that you've created. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Absolutely.
And so
you, man, it is no greater honor that I have on a daily basis than being a father. Than being a present father. Yeah, like that. That gotta be like we gotta say that. Like being a present father it matters to me. I want to ask you this question.
Okay.
And it's a two-part question. What was your favorite part of the book you did, and what was your most strenuous part of the book for you?
Well,
we lost him, y'all. We lost him.
Pause. Let me cut it off.
Hello, Coach. He mirrored out.
All right, here we go. All right. Yeah, what it was, I was I pulled up to the house and it's going back and forth without the Wi-Fi. I had to cut it off.
Right.
All right. So man, to be honest with you, man, I didn't feel I guess you say because I'm at peace with myself, as a person, and everything that I was sharing is based off my experience, the highs and lows of my career. I really didn't find any part, man, that was just like harder than the other. You know what I'm saying? Because, I mean, you know what I'm saying? Because it's like I'm not making this stuff up. It's what I've lived. You know what I'm saying? I've lived it. And watch this, man. This is the part I'm transparent about. We talking about the failures too. You know what I'm saying? Like this stuff ain't based off, being whole and complete does not mean without flaws and without issues.
Absolutely.
Being aware of where you fall short and your weaknesses as a person, I feel like that's a part of being whole and complete as well. Because I'm willing to talk about those things. You know what I'm saying? So I didn't find one part or the other, like difficult to express, because the way that the book is set up, and here you go right here. The way that it's set up, man, I have reflections at the end of the chapters. The chapters are short. I didn't want the chapters to be long because I actually have a workbook that's going to come along with it later on that I'm getting ready to print as well. So you can take those thoughts and put it down and really start to structure and organize your thoughts. So, I made it short, intentionally, so it could be something that you could read quickly. You take a couple notes, do some reflection. I wanted to be something for coaches because our lives are so so filled with duties and things. I didn't want it to be a book that's like it take you doggone 50 pages to read one chapter. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I want it to be something you can pick up, in the morning before you go to work, or read a chapter before you go to bed at night. Got a reflection page. I want it to be an easy read, but something that you can apply simply. Find one nugget out of there and apply. So for me, everything really was free flowing during the process of it. The hardest part was just, going through the homework, and the publisher say, I need to have this in 2 days. I need to have this part in 24 hours. Like that's the hard part, just, making sure the pieces to the puzzle being put together for the publisher and the editors to do. But man, this was really a smooth situation, man, because, one thing, my mentor, Dave Bryant, who's no longer here with us, he's somebody I was real close with. He just say, man, be you. And in his book, I'm being myself. You know what I'm saying? I ain't making no stuff or try to sound good, man. This is something I've lived. This is some stuff I've succeeded at and failed at. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Mm-hmm. You threw me a curve there. You flashed the book. I try to do my little homework too, man. I'm Bojack. I'm hip to the game. So across the bottom of the screen, we've had on the ticker the entirety of the interview, www.eddiejhamilton.com/complete coach. And when you think about, they said the color scheme of your book and all this, the what is that called? I want to say ergonomics, but I don't think that's the correct word. The fine tuning. I'm gonna just use that word.
Okay.
The makeup, the makeup of the wording and the side, the text and the font and all those things. I just got one real question, man. It is only one real color. It's only one real color in America, and that's Carolina blue. Why not Carolina blue, Coach? Whoa, I think we froze there, maybe, y'all. Y'all be patient with us.
All right, here we go.
Okay, so it's only one color in the world.
Okay.
That's Carolina blue.
Okay.
Why could I have gotten a vote in the color scheme, Coach? Can I get when you do the workbook?
Mm-hmm.
Can I get a vote in the color scheme?
Yeah, you can get a vote. It don't mean it's gonna count.
Great book, man. I'm waiting on my hardback copy.
Appreciate that.
I can't wait to read it, man. When I think about Eddie J. Hamilton, the Eddie J. Hamilton that I've grown to know and love, we've had a lot of early morning conversations about life and about basketball. We've had some mid-morning, top of the morning conversations about life and about basketball. We had some afternoon, and we've definitely had many late nights about life and about basketball and about brotherhood, and we shared a few meals together in love and friendship. And when I went through my divorce, you were there as a brother should be. You wiped a few of my tears.
Man.
And so I know that this book is going to be phenomenal. I want to help you make it into a bestseller because you deserve it. And for some of you guys that don't know, Coach Hamilton he's a husband. He's a father. he's a son. He's a coach. He's a mentor. He's pretty much lived in every facet that a man is asked to live. But we got one more thing that we got to add. He's a championship coach too now as well. Congratulations on your conference championship. You got the hardware like 2 weeks ago. You know, shining bright like a diamond. Man, everything flows the way it's supposed to flow in life. Congratulations on the complete coach.
I appreciate that, man. Thank you, bro. I appreciate it, man. Man, it's it's crazy, man. I've been on the different end of coaching. Losing, winning. As a high school coach, I got the chance to experience the state championship run with Lakeview in 03 under the legendary Mac Braxton, God rest his soul. My first year as a student teacher, and now as a head coach, I haven't won a state championship, but I do have that experience. Once, a few district championships, made some runs in the playoffs, and then getting the chance to go to the college level and be a part of a conference championship run. I mean, man, that was fun, man. Like it's fun, man, and it's just but what's crazy about it is that from the standpoint of the wins and the losses, there's not one season that I go back and say that was a miserable season. Right. You know what I'm saying? Right. Because when you go back and you look at, the growth, I can say every season that I've coached, I've watched teams grow. Right. And I've had to learn to embrace that, man, because there are a lot of great coaches that never win.
Right.
Never win. You know what I'm saying? Like, people can celebrate and the accomplishments, and that's cool. But I've heard out of championship coaches' mouths say, man, it was a fun journey. I enjoyed it. I'm glad the guys, that were talented enough and resilient enough to have those experiences. It was like, man, but it didn't change my life.
Wow.
Like, it didn't change it. You know what I'm saying? Like, when it was over with, it was over, and it was worth it. But they were saying, like, but every last one of them I've talked to personally say it didn't change my life. If my boys didn't go on to do things with their life, you know what I'm saying? It didn't change my life. And so, and it's so many different ways to look at that. You know what I'm saying? Right. These are men that are well respected, who I respect, who I still talk to, when I get an opportunity, man. And so it helped me, even when I was writing the book, I was like, I feel like I needed to create something and do something for the everyday coach, the guy that still works hard, sacrifices, loses sleep, like to find a way, because, man, we've lost a lot of great coaches recently to things like strokes, high blood pressure, heart attacks, divorces, quitting the profession, what I'm saying, for different reasons, because the dynamic has changed so much that I'm like, man, we got to find a way, or I got to find a way, I feel, to encourage coaches on how we can prioritize our health and well-being, making that number one, so that we can continue to give our kids our best, and at the same time not stress out. You know what I'm saying? It's been glamorized in the coaching community, and I'll say more so in the African American community, the Black community, but I won't say it's not in all of them, but I'll say what I've seen. It's been glamorized to sacrifice our lives for other people's children.
Absolutely.
And I gotta say it that way, because when you find a good man that has a family, wife, kids, stuff like that, and it's like everybody wants their kids to get that experience, you know what I'm saying, for whatever reason, And then before you know it, you see that guy that has a family and has kids lose their family because everybody else want their kids to have that guy. And what I'm trying to do is help coaches to prioritize themselves first. Because remember, I told you my personal experience, man, is that when I got better at prioritizing me and my wife and my son, those are some of the best days coaching. Because what started happening is, man, is like I would cut practices short and I would talk to my guys. And like if I had to go pick Ethan up, or my wife and I was going to hang out that night, you know what I'm saying? Or like I would tell them those things. Hey man, I'm going to go hang out with my wife tonight. You know, I love y'all, but I love her more. You know what I'm saying? Hey, I got to go pick up my son. You know what I'm saying? My son, my wife can't get off work. She get off work late. I got to go pick him up. Hey guys, I love y'all. Make sure y'all go home and spend time with your family. Now they might have went and did some other things, but look at what I'm feeding them. You know, hey man, go home and tell your daddy you love you. Ask my players. Go home, man. Tell your daddy you love him. Go surprise him. You know what I'm saying? Go home, tell your mom you love him. Go spend time with your siblings. Like we talked about those family things, and I was talking to them out of experience. They needed to know that as much as I wanted to win, it ain't more important than me getting home to my family. Now, did I get that right all the time? No, Hobart. I didn't, bro. I done pissed off my wife. You know what I'm saying?
You know how? Yeah, what they call that? Preaching to the choir.
Preaching to the choir, man. Bro.
I feel exactly what you just said. I've experienced it.
Hey, bro, I'm telling you, man, because American culture, you know, and how we do things, it glamorizes sacrificing your loved ones,
right?
You know, to for other people. And at the end of the day, all those people, they might love you, but it's still not your family. Right. And you go to any job to take care of your family. That's what you go for, to take care of your family.
That's right.
So man, if I'm giving all I got to everybody else and I'm giving my family what's left of me, man, I'm not giving my players the best version of myself.
Right.
They're not getting the best version. They're not getting the best version.
Well, imagine this. Imagine having a family. You're in a city. You move to a city where you don't have no family. The only people you know is the woman you moved there to be there with, and you have a small child, an infant child, 6 months old, and you're moving there to try to be the man that you know God created you to be.
Mm-hmm.
And you miss 75 to 80% of your son's high school games. Then you turn around and right after he graduates, you get divorced. But now you had another child. You lose the ability to wake up to that child in which you had for a fair amount of years. But now you have to acclimate to living life by yourself in a city where you have no family. How many coaches have gone through that?
Bruh. Man, let me tell you something. If it was not for my wife being grounded, I would have been the guy dragging my family around job to job. Now, people can say, like, I've had different jobs here locally. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But, you know, I didn't have to leave. You know what I'm saying? But, man, I know coaches personally who, you know, because they chasing their next opportunity. Their family in one city, they in another city. You know what I'm saying? Or the ones who every year, a couple years, moving around the country. You know, because you're doing it because you're trying to get to that job that's going to pay you well.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And then you want to win. And this goes on. And then our family is like, this is my dream. You know, this is what I want to do. And I just need y'all to understand. And your kids just getting older.
Right.
And your wife just getting more frustrated. You know what I'm saying? And you know, it is so many other scenarios. You know, we can really dig deep into this conversation. You know what I'm saying? It's a whole lot of stuff
that can happen. Why I don't like you, That's why I don't like you right now.
Hey, I mean,
you always going putting the cart before the horse. I always want to put the cart before the bro. I was just sitting there thinking, I real life literally had my last two questions locked and loaded. Like, I don't know what the most dangerous, deadly gun is because I'm not a gun guy. But whatever the most deadliest, dangerous gun is, I had my questions locked and loaded in that gun, ready to take aim and fire. And I was saying, man, you know, I can add 45 minutes to this interview just off of what we're talking about right now.
Hey, your boy here. Come here, Ethan.
What up, nephew?
Hey.
What up?
This is Mr. Holmes. What's up, man?
What up?
Look at him, man. Look how big he get, man.
I see that, man. I did.
Why you treating me like a little kid?
I think you're turning into a hooper now.
Yeah. You got started, man. We gonna get him rocking. We gonna go out. We gonna get us some food after we get through here, man. Tell everybody you on the internet, man. You everywhere. You famous.
Right. And you gonna
we gonna eat when I get done.
You got a big brain and you gonna get a big jumper.
That's right.
Yes, sir.
Uncle Tyrone, I'm depending on you now. Don't make me move the street for
it. Hey, all right, get some food after I get done, okay?
Okay.
All right, love you.
Bye.
All right, bye.
Say, bro. Ethan is just the most beautiful child, dog. I love it. I love y'all relationship too, man.
We trying, man. We trying. We going to go. We going to go get a little food to go hang out here for a second, man. So you know. But yeah, I heard you say you was about to lock and load. What
man, I had my last two questions locked and loaded, man, and I was literally like, man, I can add 45 more minutes to this, but I know, like, y'all know I always. So this was supposed to be a 30-minute interview, y'all. I promised him 30 minutes. We're at minute 52 and 5 seconds. I never do right, y'all. I ain't ever gonna do right when the interview going great because everybody got a story to be told. But look, I want to ask you this right here, man, and this is really important to me. You're a published author now. You're a successful coach, and again, success doesn't always come in the form of winning state championships or winning district championships, but it comes from a avenue and perspective of kids making good grades, kids coming to school every day and going to class, kids eventually after 4 years graduating from high school. Mm-hmm. Talk to the young head coach right now and how to build his path to his point of greatness. And it's another coach right now that's going to see this.
Yeah.
That, man, I've been wanting to write a book. Give them a starting point.
So what I'm going to do is I'm going to keep this real simple. I'm going to open up this book and all I'm going to do is I'm going to read you the chapters, the names of the chapters. All right. The first introductory chapter is setting the foundation for your program. You have to determine what success is for your program. You cannot allow the community, administration, parents, anybody else dictate from year to year what success is for your program.
Right.
You have to set that. And that sounds so fundamental and basic, but man, emotionally we get yanked all over the place because what I'm saying is not the end result. What I'm talking about is the process.
Right.
You have to understand the highs and the lows, the ups and the downs, the pitfalls, the valleys, the mountaintop experiences. You have to prepare yourself for the disappointment.
Right. Because
that's a part of it. You have to be prepared, and the way you prepare yourself is by having a mentor. You need to have somebody in your back pocket that you can call when there are things when it's going like this, up and down, up and down. So that's number one. Set the foundation for your program. You dictate what that is. When you look at the players that you have, the student athletes you have, you know, what you're inheriting, you got to dictate what that is and understand there's going to be highs and going to be lows, and you can't get overly emotional by those highs and lows. You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
And now, after you do that, all I'm going to do, I'm just going to read the chapters, lay the groundwork, mission and vision. You got to make this stuff plain. Define success. What are your core values and your principles as a person? Okay. What are the early steps and what goals are you going to set? Build a philosophy after you do that. What's your philosophy? And then how do you sustain that philosophy?
Right.
And then you want to make sure that you stay locked into your core values and your mission. And that's just the first half of the book. I ain't even got to the other part.
Right.
But like you said, starting point, you got to know who you are as a person. What do you value? And what's going to be the foundation that as we go on this journey, this is going to be how everybody knows one of the things identity wise, when it came down to my teams over the years, we're going to play extremely hard. You can't play for me. You can't. You see what I'm saying? That's a non-negotiable, bro. Like,
can I say it? Can I say it?
Yeah, go ahead.
You can't play for him if you got D's and F's. You can't play for him if you don't go to class. You can't play for him if you don't come to school. Should I know all this?
Hey, you know, bro, because we done talked about it enough, and I've lived by it. Like, you know, let's be honest, man. You know, people have gone in the other direction because that standard was set. Because
right.
if you keep moving the bar, then you're not gonna get to the place you want to get to. So for that young coach, and I'm gonna stay focused on that's just getting started, man, you gotta set the tone and you gotta stick to it, no matter what. Have I wavered before? Yes, that's why I can talk about it. I've been a guy that bent over a little bit too far. You know what I'm saying? And tried to make something work with somebody just refused. You know what I'm saying? To do the things that was asked of them. And that's fine. Right. But I've won more kids than I've lost.
Right.
At a high number. You know what I'm saying? And so you can't worry about what it looked like.
Excuse me for interrupting.
That's okay.
Excuse me for interrupting. Or a kid that you may have lost after a moment of time passed and they matured some and you matured some.
Yes.
Y'all have gain a relationship.
Yes.
And I know this because of the conversation we had earlier today.
Yes. Absolutely, man. It's like, you know, that's where having a biblical worldview helps as well, because, you know, there's a situation in the Bible, and I just paraphrase. You know, there was open sin going on in a church, and Paul said, y'all got to kick that young man out for what he's doing. But he said only to restore him. He had to get kicked out of the fold so he can see that, you know what, man, I had it good. I'm messing this up. So let me get my mind right. You know what I'm saying? Now that y'all put me out of the situation because of my behavior, right. And let me go back with a different attitude. And I've had that happen in my programs before, where I've had to release guys, you know, give them a time frame to get themselves together, and they come back and wind up being some of the most important players that I've ever coached. You know what I'm saying? But that comes from having a biblical worldview. That comes from the foundation that I have, you know, being a guy that raised up in the church, you know what I'm saying, and having some information that I believe in. And I believe in it, man, because this is not about you playing a sport. It's about the person that you are.
Right.
And when I'm coaching, X's and O's, that's so easy. That's so easy to go and talk about. We're going to run this and run that and all. That's easy. That ain't hard at all.
Right.
But getting somebody to understand why we're doing what we're doing, what's the purpose, and what is our goal for doing what we're doing, that's hard.
Right.
And it takes more time. It's easy to make a kid just a more skillful basketball player, you know, when it comes down to their physical skills. That's easy.
Right.
But to get that kid's mind to understand how to use their skill, that's hard.
Gotcha.
And that comes from setting standards. You got to set some standards in place and challenge them on a day-to-day basis, man, and to get them to that point, man. Because like I said, I had some teams, bro, that just we weren't physically gifted from a standpoint of just I got somebody to go out there and drop 30 every night. But man, they were tough as nails, man. Tough as nails. And they was gonna make it hard on the opponent. So going back to the question, young coach, set your foundation. You determine how my program is going to look and how we're going to achieve the goals that we're going to get there. You determine that. Okay.
Gotcha. Man, and lastly, man, again, I think that being an author, writing a book, putting your thoughts into format is one of the most, it's one of the most, not just enterprising, but enlightening and fulfilling things you can do. Anybody that you want to thank, extend a courtesy olive branch to, show some love to.
So what I'll do is I'm gonna start professionally first, and then I'll go personally. So professionally, Dr. Rakim Rogers down in Houston, Texas. The name of her publishing company is Beyond 94 Feet. That's you can find beyond94feet.com. I thank God for landing on her heart to help me bring this to life. And then I'll go, like I said, I'm gonna start professionally, and then I'm gonna go personally, and then I'm gonna go down the line. And the people who've helped me over the last few years get to this point and still growing to more. A young lady by the name of Chloe Duplessis, who I grew up with, went to Booker T. Washington. She's like a big sister to me. She's the first one that introduced to me, the business of, and then professionally, man, young man by the name of William Winfield. He's a professional speaker as well. Got a chance to work with him. A young lady by the name of Dupe Alaru, down out in Long Beach, California. Got a chance to work with her. She is the one that helped me put together my first framework. Because the framework of the complete coach is called the Coach's Code. And the Coach's Code is the framework, is how I developed the complete coach. And she helped me with that. And then a young lady by the name of Losha Brooks. She's from St. Louis, but lives in Dallas, Texas. She is an educational consultant. She's also helped me professionally. So I want to thank her. That's on the professional end. But then personally, man, I got to thank my wife. Tanya, when she has a pretty good discernment. Pretty good. There's some things that she just kind of know I don't need the food with, and then some things she know I need the food with. And when I started doing this and putting this together, she was all in on it, man, and that meant something to me, because when Tanya, when she get her teeth in something, man, that she believe in, she lets me know. And so my wife and my son, I got to start there. And then the influences in my life, man, my dad, my mom and dad, who I love dearly, my brother, Tyrone Hamilton, co-owner of Hard Work Institute. They're basketball trainers and mentors here locally, man. Watching my brother build his company from nothing was inspiring. I think I told him the other day, not too long ago in the conversation, man, I admire him so much. Sometimes to me, he's my big brother. I'm 6 years older than him. You know what I'm saying? Like, he my big brother, man, and just to name a few coaches, like I said, the late great Dave Bryant, who I now work at Plain Deal in his hometown, a program that he built, man, and had a lot of success there. And then, like I said, a handful of coaches, man, that influenced me. Coach Chris Bush, he's the principal at Logan Sport High School now. Todd Russ, down at Southside. He's a close friend and brother as well. And other influences have been like Bakari Beckwith. He's like a big brother as well in the coaching world. And I don't mind calling these names, man, because they've meant something to my career. Coach Errol Goff down at Archbishop Hannon. These are guys I talk to, and and then there are others too, man. Charles Corey Deans, my little brother in coaching.
We were together yesterday.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? And man, I can go down the line, man. But these are different people that along this road as I've been writing this book and who've encouraged me and were able to see the vision that I had and was like, man, go for it, go for it, man. And and I know there's some names I'm probably missing, you know what I'm saying? That happens when you're naming names. But man, my father-in-law, who's my pastor, Doyle Adams, been a real huge influence just on my life, just as a man, him just adding on to the things that my dad have taught me over the years, and being somebody that I know and trust, him and his wife, Maria Adams, man. So, like I said, you always gonna miss names, man, but those are the ones who I could say, and then, man, shoot, you and Preston.
Man, I don't know what I did, man.
Hey, man, y'all cats, man. You talk about a support base. You know what I'm saying? Like, y'all encourage me. I run stuff by y'all. And y'all encourage me, man. When I'm trying to decide on, some of the things I was doing. But man, it's been a journey, bro. It's been a journey, and it's just getting started. It's just getting started, man. I mean, this is something I am very, very proud of, and it's just the beginning. Even you give me an opportunity to get on here and talk about it a little bit. I'm gonna tell you. Let me throw this in here. Coaches. Oh, look at that. Charles Smith, legend. This book right here, man. Coaches, I'm telling y'all right now. It ain't got nothing to do with X's and O's, okay? With X's and O's. The X's and O's will take care of itself.
Right.
We're talking caring about yourself enough, to make sure that you're the best version of yourself for your team. That's what this is about. Organizing and structuring your life as a coach to make sure that your family get the best part of you. The best part of you. And still being able to support your team, and you're not stressed and burned out. Believe me, it can be done. I'm a witness. So, man, Hobart, thank you, man. I appreciate you, Doc.
Thank you,
I love you.
Man. Your brotherhood, your friendship, your unwavering love, care, and support, and everybody knows sometimes I can be a little mouthy. Thank you, man, for keeping my character in check. Little bit mouthy. Everybody know that. I ain't ashamed of it. But it's what it is, man. You're a great man, and now you're a published author. Eddie J. Hamilton. Hey, y'all, go out and support his book. Let's make this a bestseller out of the state of Louisiana, cities of Shreveport, Bossier. Do y'all job. Do y'all job and support this man who has given so much of himself over the last 20 years in y'all community. www.eddiejhamilton.com/complete coach. Hey, go. It's a small nominal fee to purchase the book. I promise you it has value, and it's going to add value to not just your life, but the people around you, because it's no greater feeling than having that anchor lifted off of your shoulder that weighs 10 pounds that you don't know how to deal with. Come and join the Complete Coaches group. The workshop book coming out soon. Again, thank you, Coach Eddie J. Hamilton, coach, husband, father, dad, son, uncle. Tyrone, we got 2 babies. Man, I feel like I'm a part of your family, bro. I bet your daddy
Hey,
said
man.
yeah.
For real, man, for real. Tell you,
Yeah,
man.
yeah.
So yeah, we look at that. Thank you so much, man. Thank you so much. Keep doing what you're doing, bro. You know I got your back.
One more time, that's www.eddiejhamilton.com/complete coach. Get your copy today. Thank you guys. Remember, nothing is greater than life off the bench.